Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Leonard with GeoVision. I'd like to welcome everybody to today's webinar, GeoVision 2020 Solutions from Integration to Automation. A couple things before we get started. If I could get just anyone to pop in and reply to the chat that you can see the screen and hear the audio fine, I would appreciate it. Perfect. All right. Thank you for that response. All right. Thank you all for joining today. The way that this webinar will operate, we will ask all attendees to please remain on mute throughout the duration of the presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, and we will also have a final slide that will list an email address in case there weren't or there were questions that were not able to be covered. You can send us an email at that address, and we will get you that question answered. So again, thank you all for joining. The slideshow today will be titled 2020 Solutions from Integration to Automation. Let's go ahead and get started. So what will be covered today is GeoVision's full end-to-end solution. A big focus of this presentation will be on the new VMS 18.1 software that was released just a couple weeks ago. I'll show a demonstration of this software and talk about the facial recognition searching capabilities that it has, along with some other features. Talk about the latest IP camera lineup from GeoVision, some of our upcoming artificial intelligence and facial recognition solutions. I'll also talk about some changes that are coming to our central monitoring software that's titled Control Center, show some new POE switches in our lineup, and then talk about other products that can be integrated with our video solutions such as access control and license plate recognition. So starting out, the VMS 18.1 software, this was just released a few weeks ago. If you've been a longtime GeoVision customer, you're definitely well aware of the fact that our VMS has always been free. We will continue to offer a free 32-channel VMS. The current version is 17.3. This new version is called VMS 18.1. This is a paid software that is completely optional. And the real benefits of this software are facial recognition searching capabilities, which I will go over throughout this presentation. But just a couple things about how the VMS 18.1 is licensed. So you would purchase it as a 32-channel dongle, and this dongle can be combined with additional dongles. If you have purchased the previous VMS Pro software that gets you up to 64 channels, you are able to combine it with the VMS 18.1 dongle, and that would get you up to 64 channels. So if you already had a 64-channel machine, you're able to keep that existing dongle, use it with the new VMS 18.1, and then have 64 channels on VMS 18.1. This can also be combined with third-party camera licenses. So in that case, you would need the VMS third-party dongle with the VMS 18 dongle. And then again, if you wanted, you could also add on the VMS Pro to get you up to 64 total cameras. So again, the big benefits here with the VMS software, the VMS 18.1, are integration with a series of facial recognition cameras that we offer. These are currently available. They're called the VD8700, and then there's also the FD8700-FR. They have built-in facial recognition technology in the camera. You will also be able to integrate the VMS 18.1 software with a new software package we are releasing soon, which is called VMS-VR Server. I'll show a couple slides on this software here in just a few minutes, but this allows you to convert non-facial recognition cameras into facial recognition as well as age and gender recognition cameras. So before we get into all of the features of the VMS 18.1, I want to just first kind of talk about some of the benefits of artificial intelligence and facial recognition solutions, some of the different use cases that we see this technology being beneficial for. First, real-time alerts and identification of persons of interest. So say you have a commercial office, you want to get alerted if, say, a previous disgruntled employee returns to the office. A facial recognition solution can give you the ability to get a real-time alert that that event has occurred. Employee and resident activity management, just being able to quickly pull up and track where residents are moving throughout a community or employees are moving throughout a facility. This is another benefit that you can get from an artificial intelligence and facial recognition solution. Just in general, increasing and improving efficiency in your video review process. Everyone knows, for years, retrieving and reviewing video has been a manual process where, you just have to manually sort through your timeline of events to find one particular event you're looking for. With things like artificial intelligence and facial recognition, it dramatically speeds up the process of reviewing and finding your clip of interest. Integration with access control. This is something that we currently offer now, and I will be displaying throughout this presentation. But just providing the convenience of allowing facial recognition to integrate with access control and unlock a door based on someone's face. Looking at a specific vertical market, retail is a great application for things like artificial intelligence. You can do things like age and gender analysis, provide targeted signage based on that age and gender demographic, and then also get alerts based upon VIP customers that are coming into your facility. So if you have, say a person, a repeat shopper or someone that you want to take extra care of, you might be able to get a real-time alert based on their face whenever they show up at your facility. So now I want to talk about some of the specific features that are included in the VMS 18.1 software. Enrolling faces is an extremely easy process. You can do it on both live view or on playback view. What you're able to do is just take a snapshot. You could draw a box around your person of interest face. And again, that can be done in live or playback video. You type in the name of your person of interest, and then you would select which camera or cameras you're interested in enrolling that person in. Hit the checkbox, and then it's about a 5 to 10 second process, and that person is now enrolled in the facial recognition database. And again, I'll demonstrate this here in just a few minutes with a live demo of VMS. The Face ID Index, this is a convenient tool. Basically what it is a scrolling log of all the recognized faces. It looks like you see over there on the right. So you'd see the name of the person that's recognized, what camera they were recognized on, and then the date and timestamp with that recognition result. If you double click on one of your results, you're then able to watch the recorded footage from that result. Let's talk about alerts. So with the VMS 18.1 software, you are able to get real-time alerts, and this can be done on a recognized face scenario, or if you want to get recognition alerts on unknown faces, it is possible as well. A few different types of alerts would be a software pop-up. So that could be, a pop-up and a notification with an audible alarm playing in the software. You can also get an email alert or an SMS text alert. And then finally, you could trigger a physical input-output scenario. So if you wanted to have, say, like a siren or a strobe light wired into the NVR and be able to trigger that to go off when, say, a recognized person of interest is seen by the camera, this is something that can be done. Obviously, these are things that are happening in real time, in a live view scenario. And then as far as on playback features, we do have the ability to do what's called a face search. And what this allows you to do when you go to the playback window, you can choose your cameras that you're interested in over on the left, choose a date and time range, type in the name of the person of interest if they're already enrolled in the facial recognition database, and you hit OK. It'll give you a list of all your results, like you can see there on the screen beside of it. If you double click on one of the results, it'll play back the recorded footage for you. Now, if you integrate this with our upcoming AI-FR server software, this also allows you to take it a step further to where you can search by age and gender. So if there was someone that is of interest, but they weren't already enrolled in the facial recognition database, but you got a tip that it was approximately a 40 to 50-year-old male, that committed the crime, you can import that information in here to these fields, and then hit OK, and it'll show you all the results that fit that criteria. Another way that you can do a search, this is where if your person of interest is not already enrolled in the facial recognition database, you can upload a picture of that person. So say you have just a headshot or a mugshot or whatever of your person of interest, upload it into the software, and you can scan. It'll give you a list of all the results of when that person was seen by the camera. And then again, you double click on your result and you're playing back your footage from that result. 3D EMAP tracking. The VMS software has always had our 3D EMAP feature. This has been a very popular feature. And if you're not already familiar with it, what it allows you to do is you can upload a floor plan of the customer's facility, display it as a channel within the software, and there'd be icons on the map of where the camera's physically located in the building. What will happen here with this feature of the new VMS is if you have facial recognition cameras around your facility, you will see a path that shows where the person went throughout the facility. So it allows you to be able to do a more thorough investigation and find your video and go throughout your facility and review what happened. Some other features that are included with the VMS 18.1 that are not so much facial recognition related, we do now have the ability to do the mobile app setup by scanning a QR code that's on screen. When doing this, no port forwarding is needed on the router. So it definitely is a much quicker setup of your mobile app. One thing we do note on this is if doing this method, you're limited to 10 gigabytes a month of free viewing. If you go beyond that, there is a one-time monthly charge. And then, of course, there always is the option to do port forwarding, and you don't incur that 10 gigabytes. Another nice feature that's added in is SD card data synchronization when your network connection resumes. So let's say that you have some cameras that have a built-in SD card, and they start recording if the network connection back to the NVR fails. Once that network connection is restored, the data that's on that SD card will then sync back into the VMS software, so all of your video is imported back into your timeline. And lastly here, there's a new mobile app that will be released very soon called GV Live Streaming. This is a mobile app that allows you, say, as a security guard or just a person that working at a facility, you can walk around the facility. If you see an event going on, you can pull out your phone, open this mobile app, and when you start recording, it will live stream the video back to the VMS software, and it will record it on the VMS as a recorded channel. So this allows you to think of this app basically as having a surveillance camera in your pocket at all times that you're able to stream and record back to your VMS. This does also allow you to live stream the video to our central monitoring software called Control Center. So if you have a large-scale application, this is another fit that you could use this mobile app for. Okay, I've talked a little bit about the VMS server software in the previous slides. I wanted to give some more details on this. This is a new software that will be coming out in a couple months, and what this allows you to do is you can take non-facial recognition cameras and give them both facial recognition as well as age and gender recognition capabilities. It's recommended to use these with the current GeoVision facial detection camera series, or you can also use just standard IP cameras, whether they're GeoVision or third-party, minimum of 2 megapixel and 150 pixels for the face area of the image. So again, if you're using just a standard IP camera, you can use it with this software, and it gives you both the facial recognition and age and gender recognition capabilities. Now, this software would not run on the same machine that your VMS runs on. It does need to run on a separate machine, and that's for performance reasons, and it will send all of your data to the VMS for recording. Another big benefit that the VMS server software offers is what's called liveness detection. So this really comes into play when you're integrating facial recognition with access control. Because with the liveness detection feature, what it allows you to do is if someone presents just say a snapshot of someone's face to a camera rather than an actual person standing there, it won't be able to trick the software and unlock the door in a access control scenario. So liveness detection definitely is key. A couple other things that can be done with this. Again, we touched on integration with access control. I'll go into that a little bit further later. You can do face counting and queries. So this might be good in retail applications. If you want to get a count of how many people went into your facility at certain times of the day, you can do that. Again, you can do age and gender queries as well. So being able to get information about the demographics of the type of customer that's coming into your facility. So maybe you can tailor the environment for that demographic. And then this can all be pulled into a graph and report, so you're able to analyze it. And then lastly, you can also do the input-output triggers upon an authorized, an enrolled face, or an unknown face as well. So with that being said, let me go ahead and jump over to the VMS software, and I want to just show a live demonstration of some of the features of the VMS. As far as enrolling faces, as I mentioned, it is a very easy process. So upon live view or playback view, you can look at a camera, hit the snapshot button, and what it will do is pull up this window right here. You can hit the enroll face button. Once you determine that that's a good face that you want to enroll, click the check mark, draw a box around that person, just type in the name of your subject, and down here it allows you to select which host or hosts that you want to enroll that person with. Hit the check mark here, and it's about a 5 to 10 second process, and it will go ahead and enroll. It says success. Now I am enrolled in that camera and the facial recognition server. So again, that can be done in both live view or in playback view. It's the exact same process on both. Another thing right here in live view, you have this face ID section. So what this is doing is just keeping a running log of all your recognized and unrecognized faces. And then if you double click on a particular result, it flips you over to your playback window, where you can then hit play and you can see your recorded video associated with the event. So if you see down here on the bottom right, I've got my recognized event there of when I entered the frame. All right, I want to flip over now to the playback and show some of the, actually before I do that, there is another live view feature to show. It's called Face Manager. This is another way that you can enroll faces into the software. You can go in and hit Face Enrollment, and this is where you'd be uploading a picture of your person of interest. So you can go in and you can just hit Add, type in the name of your user, hit OK, and here you can add them to an authorized or unauthorized list. And then you just click and navigate within Windows to find that picture that you want to upload. Hit the check mark, yes, and then again, you're enrolling that person into the database. Okay, so again, this would be done if you're enrolling someone that's not, hasn't been seen by the camera, isn't standing in front of the camera. Maybe you've got a tip that this person, is a known shoplifter, you want to enroll their face into the database. That is where you could do that. Face database synchronization. This is another very handy feature if you have multiple facial recognition cameras, or if you're also using, say, some facial recognition cameras with the FR server software. When you hit this, it will sync all of your enrolled faces across all devices on the system. So rather than having to go to each device and manually enrolling someone, hit this button, it'll sync everything up and just make it a quick process. And then lastly, camera and alert settings. This is where you can actually go in and you can select and set up your alerts. Again, this can be done on unauthorized or authorized faces. And there are several types of alerts that you can set up. You can get an email notification. You can trigger an input-output scenario. Have an alarm go off with an audible sound at the computer. You can even run a program. And then the Notify app, this is a mobile app called GV-Notify, where you can get a push notification when this event occurs. On the playback side, you can go in and hit face recognition. And this is where if you want to search for an event based on recorded footage, you can go in and hit the query button here. And again, you have the opportunity to select your cameras of interest on the left. You can select your date and time range. It can be up to a 7-day range. Type in the name of your person of interest, again, if they're already enrolled. Or if they're not enrolled and you just want to search age and gender and you've integrated with the AI-FR server that I mentioned earlier, this is where you can type in your age and gender options here. And then when you hit OK, you get a list of all your results. And then if you double click on one of the results, it'll bring you to the timeline of that result. And then you can see your recorded footage there. So that's the first way that you're able to search for facial recognition results. The other option is you can hit this one that says select a photo from your computer. If you select that photo, hit open, again, it will bring you a list of all your results, and then you can click and watch the footage. One option that you do have when you're selecting a photo is this thing called confidence score. What this allows you to do is you can dial down the accuracy. So you make sure that you get all the videos of that person, or maybe someone that looks very similar to that person, or if the camera, say, only caught like a side profile of the person, this just allows you to get more results and make sure you're getting all your footage. Now, while we're on this screen, those are some of the main benefits and search features of the VMS 18.1. But if there's anyone here that's on the webinar and hasn't moved into the GeoVision VMS platform, maybe you've only used the old multicam software, I do want to just kind of highlight some of the main features of the VMS as a whole, because the current free VMS and the new VMS 18.1 are the exact same user interface. So the first thing I want to point out is what's called layouts. This allows you to actually go in and create custom layout groups. So if you want to just go in here, and we'll call this one test 1, 2, 3, you can pick one of the predefined layouts. You can make it, say, a 5x5, 4x4, whatever you want to do. Or what I like to do is hit customize. And when you do this, you're actually able to draw your layout however large or small you want your cameras to display. So say your customer's got some critical cameras throughout their facility. They just want to be able to make some of them display larger than others. You can, again, customize this layout for them. And if you notice here on the left, in my layouts list, I've got several different layouts that have already been created. So if you wanted to, say, have all of your interior cameras on one layout, exterior cameras on another, it's just a way to be able to quickly pull up that set of cameras that you're interested in. And then when you're ready to pull in cameras to your layout, over on the left in your camera section, if you hover over a camera, it shows you a live preview of the camera. You just simply drag and drop your cameras into where you want them to display. All right, the next feature I want to talk about is the EMAP feature. So again, what this allows you to do is you can upload a floor plan of your facility and display it as a channel of your software. If you have a multi-story facility, it does allow you to do multi-floors. And this is an interactive EMAP, so you can click to drag and you can rotate it, move it up and down. You can even zoom in and out on it. If you're interested in just looking at one floor of the facility, you just double click on it. It'll bring up that floor. By the way, this constant rotation that is displaying right now, that can be turned off if you don't prefer to have that. But what this does is the cameras will flash in red and pop up a preview when motion is detected. So that allows someone that is watching the cameras to be able to understand where things are going on throughout the facility, rather than just looking at one large screen of cameras with no activity. So if a camera pops up here on the map, you can double click on it. It'll then full screen that camera, and you can interact with it from there. Double click again, and you're back in your full EMAP view. Next feature I want to highlight is fisheye camera dewarping. So down here on the bottom right, you're able to display both your circular 360 image on one channel, and then on the channel to the right of it, you can have your dewarped view. All right, so this doesn't take up multiple licenses of the software or anything like that to do it. It does obviously take up a separate window, if you will. But this is nice because you can see the entire overview shot from the 360, as well as have the ability to do your individual control and pan, tilt, and zoom on the fisheye. Now, both of these you can obviously full screen and interact with. But again, it is just nice to be able to have the ability to dewarp on one channel as well as the overview on its own channel. In the playback window, reviewing footage is based on a timeline. You've got a 24-hour timeline here along the bottom. You will see tick marks that indicate where motion events occurred. And if you notice there's two bars on the timeline. The top one is the camera that you have clicked on. The bottom one is all cameras on the layout. So if I click on a different camera, you'll notice here that first bar changes. So that's just bringing in the motion clips associated with that camera alone. And then once you hover over your timeline, you can see a live preview from the camera that you've clicked on. So again, it allows you to kind of scrub through and look at your video and maybe locate a clip a little quicker. You can also, if you're interested in getting down between an hour, let's say the 9 and 10 o'clock hour here, you can put your mouse there, scroll up to expand that hour, and now you're looking at more of a granular view down into the minutes. All right, and then if you click on a particular moment in time, it'll bring in any cameras to the matrix that got recorded footage, and then when you hit play, you're able to play them synced up together. The last feature that I want to mention that is already available in the VMS 17.3 software as well as the new VMS 18.1 is a feature called Storyline. What this allows you to do is you can create one file that shows a person going from camera to camera to camera. So it kind of builds basically a movie that shows the activity of where the person went throughout the facility. So rather than exporting multiple clips to give to law enforcement, you're able to build a file where it, again, shows the person moving from camera to camera to camera. The storyline can be built in both live view, if you're, say, catching the event happening while it unfolds, or it can also be built in playback footage when you're just recording the playback events. So again, very useful feature, Storyline, is available now. All right, so those are the features of VMS. I'm going to flip back over here now to the presentation. And I want to just talk about some of the other products in the GeoVision lineup. So first, starting out with the IP camera series. All GeoVision cameras are IP-based. We don't offer any TVI or analog cameras or anything like that. We do have a few different series of cameras. The Target series is one of our most popular lines. This is, think of it as kind of the budget-friendly fixed lens line of cameras. A couple things technology-wise about GeoVision cameras. Pretty much all models now do have H.265 compression, which reduces your hard drive and bandwidth consumption by about 50%. Most of our models have true wide dynamic range, which is indicated by the WDR Pro icon, if you see that on any of our marketing. And then some models have super low lux capabilities, which allows you to see color in very low light environments. Another tip I always like to point out related to our camera line is the first digit always tells you how many megapixels the camera is. Most of our camera lines now are going to the 2, 4, and 8 megapixel level. So again, this slide shows your fixed lens options, with the exception of the turrets on the far right that end in an 11. Those do have a motorized varifocal. Another somewhat newer series is called the T series. These are our motorized varifocal options. 4 and 8 megapixel, you can see the TVD and the TBL series. They're a 2.8 to 12 millimeter motorized lens. So rather than having to manually adjust the focus of these cameras, while you're up on a ladder, this can be done from the software. Another thing that I do want to point out, we've started doing new on our dome style cameras. It has a new style IR LED where it's a single LED instead of multiple bulbs. What this does for you is it gives you a much better night viewing capability. In most manufacturers' domes that have integrated IR, you used to see somewhat of a halo or an IR glare effect. With these new domes, you have a single LED, and you've seen quite a bit of reduction in any IR bounce back. The current lineup of fisheye cameras, we offer these in 3, 5, and 12 megapixel. They're all outdoor rated, and they all have IR built in. You have 4 different de-warping modes or viewing modes that you can do. These modes can all be done in both live view or in playback view, and they can be done either locally at the NVR, remotely through our remote viewing software, or through our mobile app as well. The VR360, this is a very unique camera in the industry. This is our virtual reality camera. It has 2 fisheye lenses, one on each side of the camera. It gives you a 720-degree view around the camera. So you can look up, down, and all around with literally no blind spots. Another unique feature of this camera is you can live stream it in YouTube. So let's say that you have a customer that wants to be able to broadcast a stream, online and show an event. Think of maybe a church service or a festival or something like that. This camera would give you the ability to do that. And every person that is watching the camera through YouTube does have the ability to click, to drag, and move the camera around in live view, and it won't affect what the other person sees. So independent controls and being able to move and look at the camera. It does record everything all around the camera, so even in playback, you're able to move it around. And then lastly, it does have audio capabilities. There is a built-in microphone and speaker, as well as a mic and speaker input if you wanted to do an even higher quality audio. I touched a little bit on our facial recognition cameras earlier. We currently have 2 models that have built-in facial recognition technology in the camera. So what this means for you, again, you can use these with the GeoVision VMS platform, or you could even use them with third-party VMS softwares, and they will still do facial recognition, like you see on the screen here. So the name of the person will pop up on the screen above their head. This camera is an 8 megapixel. Really, the main differences between them are the FD8700-FR is indoor and non-vandal resistant, and then the VD8700 is outdoor rated and vandal resistant. Both models have up to a 10,000 face database directly into the camera. You can log into the web interface of the camera and upload your images of your person of interest, or again, you can do it through the VMS software like I demonstrated earlier. Recognition, you need to have this camera mounted within about 13 feet of your, say, entrance to your facility. That's the max distance at which it will recognize a face, and it can recognize up to 10 faces simultaneously. Integration with access control. We currently do offer a product called the FWC. It stands for Face to Huygens Converter. What this allows you to do is take one of our facial recognition cameras and integrate it with an access control system. What's very unique about this solution is this can be used with both GeoVision access control or third-party access control systems that will accept Huygens interface. So it supports Huygens 26-bit, which is the most common access control interface. And this, again, will allow you to take that camera plus the FWC box, use it with a third-party panel and a third-party access control software, and you can then unlock a door based on someone's face. Multi-imager cameras, we do have a model now called the SV48000. This has 4 12-megapixel lenses that surround the camera, built-in IR as well. So this can give you a 360-degree view around the camera. We mostly see this used on building perimeter applications, parking lot surveillance applications. You could even maybe drop it down from the ceiling in a large warehouse or manufacturing plant. And with this, obviously, you have 4 12-megapixel lenses, so you do get much higher resolution and zooming capabilities versus a 360 fisheye camera. Another unique thing on this camera is you can pull a single Ethernet cable out to it and power it over a high-powered POE injector that we sell. The Unicam Series, this is our line of modular cameras. We have 2 models here. The model on the left, called the UNP2500, is a IP-based pinhole camera with a microphone built in. And then the model on the right is a mini fisheye camera. That's the UNFE2503. That camera we see used a lot in ATM applications, parking lot pay stations, maybe elevators, building entries. Those are some good applications for that type of camera. The lenses would wire to the back box that you see there, and then from the back box you can go into your POE switch. Another nice thing to note on these, if you see on the back box, it does have a micro SD card slot. So if you need to record the camera standalone, it does have that capability as well. Current lineup of PTZ cameras, the model that we have now is the one on the left. It's the SD2722-IR. This is a 2 megapixel with 22x optical zoom. Very good night viewing capabilities, 655 feet of IR range, and it does support object tracking as well. I do note that the current model is powered by 24-volt power adapter that comes with it. We will be releasing some new 5 megapixel PTZs very soon. You have the QSD series on the right. The main difference between them is the QSD 5730 is indoor and in ceiling mount, and then the QSD 5731-IR is outdoor rated. Both can be powered by a high-powered POE injector. So rather than doing 24 volt, you can do a high-powered injector that we offer as well. Again, talked a little bit earlier about the VMS 17.3. It is free for 32 channels. It will remain that way. If you're using GeoVision cameras, there's no licensing fees required. If you use third-party cameras, there would be a one-time license fee required per camera. That is just a one-time license. There's no recurring yearly charges if you have to buy that license. Another thing that can be done is this can expand up to a 64-channel software with the VMS Pro dongle. So again, you buy that as a one-time cost, and you're able to go up to 64 cameras all onto one machine. I want to introduce a new software package that will be coming out in Q2. This is called AI Guard. This is a software that you would run separate from the VMS, and it's mainly meant for things like human detection, vehicle detection. As you notice there on the video on the left, you can see the bounding boxes are very accurate around both people and vehicles. It can also detect paths of travel, so paths of human traffic as well as paths of vehicle traffic. And you can get real-time alerts if people are going in opposite directions of what traffic should flow, or if they're going in the wrong area, like you saw in the crosswalk scenario. This will also allow you to do hard hat detection, so good for like construction site applications, as well as vehicle type and clothing color search. So this is a very useful feature if you want to be able to quickly locate video associated with a vehicle, or if you want to search based on someone's clothing color. On the left, you can see there where you have the ability to choose what type of vehicle you're searching for. So say you're looking for a car or a bus or a truck, you know, that type of thing. You can select that from a drop-down menu, as well as select the color of the vehicle. It will then give you a list of all your results. And then if you click on that result, it'll play back the recorded footage for you. On the right side, it's just showing a snapshot of the clothing color search. Yeah. This will allow you to search by upper body clothing color as well as lower body clothing color. And again, once you click on your result, it'll play back the recorded footage. So again, these analytics are really meant to help you retrieve your video quicker and just have a more efficient video review process. Control Center software, this is our current central monitoring software. This is our large-scale central viewing package. What this allows you to do is you can have up to 8 monitors on a wall, 96 cameras of live video per monitor for a grand total of 768 channels of live video. So this could be good for, say, a multi-location customer. Maybe they've got 10 locations. They want to be able to centrally view all the video at one spot, or a large campus environment that has, say, hundreds of cameras spread across it. The picture you see here is actually a real-world application that's using over 1,500 GeoVision cameras and multiple instances of the Control Center software. Now, some other features that the Control Center offers, it does have the EMAP capability, similar to how I showed in the VMS software. You can also dedicate a monitor to a feature called visual motion detection. What this allows you to do is cameras will only pop up on the screen when motion is detected, and then they drop out when motion goes away. So if you've got a live guard that's sitting there trying to monitor hundreds of cameras, it's a very effective and efficient tool to alert that person when motion is happening so they can then investigate further. And then, of course, lastly, it does allow for remote playback as well. And that can be from multiple NVRs and multiple sites. Now, if you've used the Control Center software previously, one thing I do want to point out that's coming in Q3 is this will be going through a user interface redesign. And the idea behind this redesign is we're starting to make all of our software packages have the same user interface as the VMS software. So it just creates a unified experience across all platforms. So with this new Control Center 4.0, you will have the ability to create the custom layouts like I showed in the VMS software. You will also have the ability to have tabs, say a live view tab, a playback view tab, and then a video wall tab that you can just quickly flip between. And then lastly, this will also integrate with our access control software, AS Manager, to where you can centrally view and manage your access control from one spot. So again, this is the new version of Control Center that will be coming in Q3 of this year. As far as hardware to run all these different software packages on, GeoVision does build our own line of NVR systems. The two on the screen are built in our Southern California office. You have the Cube NVR on the left. This is more of like a desktop style machine. Has 4 hot swap hard drive bays. And then the model on the right is the rack mount option. This can come in a 4, 8, or 20 hard drive bay array. These are completely customizable as far as how much storage and hard drive space you want to put in them. And they can support anywhere from an 8-channel array up to 128 channels. We do have some Linux-based NVRs as well. These have a built-in POE switch. They currently are offered in 4, 8, and 16 channel. Some unique things about GeoVision's Linux-based POE NVRs is each channel can support up to 4K resolution, and you can put any camera on these units on VIF, whether it's GeoVision or third-party, with no license required. So the VMS software, you know, that you do have to have a license for, but these units don't run the VMS. They run a more basic view and record software, and no license is recorded for these units. No license is required for these units. The IP decoder box, this is a very handy product if you ever need to display cameras out onto a spot monitor, say like a public view monitor scenario. What this box does is you plug it into the network and then plug it into a TV with an HDMI. It'll scan and find any IP cameras on the network, whether they're GeoVision or third party, and then you can select which cameras you want to display out onto the monitor. So again, think of like a public view monitor when you walk into a retail store, or this might be good for a guard shack where you want to have the ability to display cameras for the guards, but you don't want them to control the NVR. This is a great device that's network-based and allows you to just push those cameras out onto the monitor. GeoVision does offer our own line of POE switches. We offer these in 4, 8, 16, and 24 port. Some unique things about our switches. The models on this slide here are all web managed. They also have a very strong power rating. You get 15.4 watts on each port, and then half of your ports can go up to 30 watts. So if you do have a POE Plus camera, these switches do give you the ability to still power those cameras. Another nice thing about these, they really were designed for IP surveillance in mind. And you see that because of the fact that you have additional gigabit uplink ports as well as SFP fiber ports. So for example, on the 16-port switch on the top right, you've got 16 ports of PoE, 2 uplinks, and then 2 fiber SFP ports. That allows you to have a port to go back to your NVR and then even link to another switch if you need to. So you're not losing one of your PoE ports as an uplink port. A newer series of switches that came out last fall, this is called the POE series. We currently offer these in a 4 and an 8 port. These are unmanaged. And the big benefit on these is they have a feature called CCTV mode, which allows you to go up to 820 feet of PoE and data transmission. This can be used on any camera that draws 15 watts or less, whether it's a GeoVision or third-party camera. The 820-foot distance does not apply for cameras that go over 15 watts. But again, these currently are offered in a 4 and an 8 port, and you'll notice they do still have the additional uplink ports as well. And then we will also be releasing these in a 16 and 24 port model. And then lastly, going along that same topic of extended PoE distance, if you're using just a standard PoE switch that cuts off at 100 meters, 328 feet, we do have a passive PoE extender. So you would put this in line with your PoE run, with your Ethernet run, and for every unit you use, it gives you another 328 feet. If you use these with GeoVision cameras and GeoVision switches, you can do up to 5 of them in line for over 1,900 feet of continuous PoE and data. So again, good for those long run scenarios. Access control, GeoVision does manufacture our own line of access control products. They do integrate with our video. I'll show what that looks like in a couple slides. But here on this slide, it shows the different panels that we offer. These are all IP-based panels. A new model that we introduced just recently is the AS1620. This is a single door IP-based panel. We do also have the 2120, which can do 2 or 4 doors, the 4111 and the 8111, which are a 4 and 8 door panel. GeoVision access control panels can support both GeoVision readers and third-party readers that are 26 through 64-bit weakened. So if you're using, say, existing readers, you are able to bring those into these panels, and then you can integrate with our video for an access control video integration solution. Our current lineup of readers, the models on the top, they're all outdoor rated, they're all UL rated as well. You've got the DFR 1352, which is a mullion style. The R1352 would be a single gang style reader. And then the RK1352 is a combination reader. It will do both card and PIN, so you can do dual authentication. On the bottom left is our fingerprint reader. Again, it does have dual authentication capabilities with finger and card. Now, if you are using GeoVision readers, it is recommended to use GeoVision credentials as well. These readers that you see on the screen are the 13.56 megahertz smart frequency. So they are the more secure format that the industry has moved towards. And of course, that is what the credentials are as well. Our credentials are sold as a card or a fob. We do sell them individually. So if you need just 10, 20 of them, you don't have to buy a box of 50 or 100. Access control solutions for gates. We do offer some long-range reader options. The current model on the bottom right, the RU9003, is a long-range reader that has 32 feet of read range. It comes in a 64-bit or a 26-bit. The 26-bit would allow you to use it on pretty much anyone's access control panel. And then if you see on the bottom right is the sticker credential that would go on the windshield or the headlight of the vehicle. So as the vehicle pulls up to the gate and gets within 32 feet, the long-range reader would read that, and then the gate would open. Up on the top right, the AS1520. This is a unique model because it's both a long-range reader and a controller all in one. So if you ever have a scenario where you have a gate that you can't trench and pull a data cable out to the gate, but you've got power there, you could run this unit standalone on its own, just as long as you've got power. And then again, it will automate the gate as someone pulls up. So again, a couple access control solutions for gate applications. Last piece of hardware here, the CS1320. This is our door station unit that is a single door controller, card reader, camera, and intercom all in one. So you put this out at a door. If you're an employee, you can walk up to it, present your card, door will unlock. If you're a guest, when you press the button on it, it will ring to a free desktop software that you see on this slide here, as well as to our mobile app. And then from both locations, you can see the live video, click and talk to the person, and then also click to unlock the door. Lastly, the camera that's built into it can be streamed and recorded into our VMS software. So out of this unit, you're getting access control, intercom, and a front door surveillance camera all in one. Another unique thing that is available now, once the AIFR server software comes out, is you can pair this device with the AIFR server software and turn it into a facial recognition unit. So it's a very convenient solution because it's right there looking at someone's face as they walk up, present their face, and then door would unlock based on that. Integration with access control and video, that's where our AS Manager software comes into play. So over on the left, obviously, you see your text log of all your events of when somebody presented a card. If you click on one of those results, on the right side, you'll see a snapshot of when that person presented their credential, as well as a pre-enrolled picture of that card holder. This gives you an added layer of security because you can go back through your log and you can verify if the right person came in with the right card. Or if you've got a live guard scenario, they're able to look at that and compare and make sure that that's the correct person coming into the facility. With GeoVision's access control software, the way that it's licensed is you get licenses for up to 4 panels free on every installation. It doesn't matter if it's a single door panel or an 8-door panel. You get licenses for up to 4 panels free. So if you did 4 8-door panels, that would give you up to 32 doors with no software licensing required. Beyond that, it's a one-time fee if you want to add additional panels, and you can go up to 1,000 control panels with our software. I touched a little bit earlier on the Access Control mobile app. This is a very convenient feature for being able to remotely control your doors. What it does when you first open it up, it shows this screen here with all your doors listed out. If you click on a door, it'll bring up the live camera footage from that door. You can then click on the control button, and you get a menu where you can say unlock the door, force unlock. You can even do a lockdown of the entire facility if you need to. So if there's an emergency or something going on, one click of a button, whether you're on site or off site, allows you to lock down your facility. This is, again, a free mobile app. And then lastly, license plate recognition. GeoVision is one of the fewer manufacturers in the industry that has true license plate recognition cameras. So these are cameras that are optimized for being able to see a plate both during the day and at night. One thing I will say that is license plate recognition is a trickier topic. These cameras really are meant to focus on like a 1 to 2 car width wide zone. You want to have them mounted and just looking and catching plates. They're not really meant for like looking out at a parking lot and trying to catch every plate in a parking lot. The differences between these two, they both have 65 feet of IR range, but the model on the right, the LPR 1200, has a built-in recognition engine in the camera. What that allows you to do is you can upload your plate numbers of interest into the camera, and if the camera sees that plate number, you can get a real-time alert, say an email, a text message, an input-output scenario, or you could also have it unlock a gate on like a gated community type of application. The model on the left, the LPC 2211, does not have the recognition engine built in. It just has the ability to see plates during the day or at night, like you see in the images here. But you do have the ability to get a license plate recognition software, and it does give you the ability to get your recognition results. And one thing interesting to note and convenient about this is the license plate recognition software resides in the same user interface as the access control software. So that allows you to just tab between your door access control and your license plate recognition results all under one software interface. And again, when using this software, you can trigger alerts as well as trigger to unlock gates and those types of scenarios as well. So I want to thank everyone. This is the lineup, current product lineup for GeoVision, as well as an introduction to some of the newest products. At this time, I want to just go ahead and open it up. If anyone has any questions, please just go ahead and submit them in the chat log. And I just ask, please, everyone to stay on mute, and let's just submit text-based questions. Okay, so first question here I got was, are you able to pre-populate the FACE database? For example, load a database of registered offenders for use at a school. So yes, that can be done. Let's say that law enforcement gave you headshots of your people of interest. You could take those headshots and then import them into the facial recognition solutions. So yes, that definitely can be done. So I had the next question here was just a kind of a general statement. Interested to hear more about the 3D EMAP that was just shown. So just as a recap on the 3D EMAP, that is a free feature of the VMS software. And what you do is if you have a floor plan of your customer's facility, it needs to be a picture file. It cannot be a PDF. That's the only thing I like to point out to customers is it has to be a picture file. Upload that. We have a tool called EMAP Editor. And what that allows you to do is lay out icons on the map of where the cameras are located. And then once you save that to the VMS, you'll be able to display it and get your notifications of where the motion is going on. The next question here is, can we get a trial of the VMS 18.1? I would ask that person, please email me offline at this email address below and here, and we can discuss that a little bit further. The next question here was for people that are using the Control Center 3.0, is it a free upgrade to 4.0? The answer to that is unfortunately no, it is not. It is going to be a paid upgrade as a one-time fee. It is a pretty minimal cost. It's, again, it's going through a complete redesign. Typically our upgrades are free. In scenarios like this, where it is a complete redesign, there is a one-time cost. The next question here was, can we have a customized siren with a custom sound? I believe this is referring to like the alert capabilities of the facial recognition solution. So in the software, you are able to have a customized sound playing. We do have some pre-recorded sounds that you can select, or there is a user-defined field where you can just navigate throughout Windows and find that sound that you've recorded. So yes, that can be done. The next question here is, when is the AIFR server going to be ready, and approximate price? So AIFR server software should be available, I would say, in the next 2 months, maybe even sooner. We don't have pricing information on it yet, but please do email us privately through this email address, and we can get you some more info on that as it develops. The next question here is, what happened to the 125 kilohertz readers? So we do actually still have one 125 kilohertz reader. I did not put it on this slideshow, mainly because we're seeing most customers move over to the 13.56 megahertz frequency. This is the more secure type of credential that cannot be cloned. So we're highlighting those, and we're moving forward with new products that have that technology built in. Next question here was, what mobile applications are available for the GV-AS Manager access control software? It says, when someone shows up at a delivery dock and rings a doorbell, I can only unlock the door from an app or only a computer. So we have a free mobile app for AS Manager. It's called GV Access. And if you're using this with the CS1320 device, you are able to actually set it up to where when someone presses the intercom button on the CS1320, it will ring to your mobile app. You can then open it up, and you can see the live video as well as talk to the person and click to unlock the door. So that can all be done with the GV Access app, and that app is available for both iOS and Android platforms. The next question here was actually about the GV Access mobile app. It says, is it designed for users or admins? Really either way. It does require a ID and password to be input into the app when you're setting it up. So if you wanted to give someone, access to certain doors, you could segment that. That can be done. The one thing I will say about the Access Control mobile app is it's really for controlling doors. You're not using it to say set up schedules or enroll new users or those kinds of things. It's more for being able to control your doors at your facility. The next question here was, is GV AIFR server free, or is it included in VMS 18.1? So no, it is actually a paid software. It will run separate from the VMS 18.1, and it's totally optional. Again, this is for use if you want to turn non-facial recognition cameras into facial recognition cameras, or if you want the age and gender capabilities that it offers, as well as some of the other features that it has. The next one here was, will VMS 18.1 have a updated mobile app to include the building layout? We will not have the ability, I don't think, to do like the EMAP on a mobile app. You do have the ability to do group management, which may be what you're referring to. But if you could please email us offline on that one, we can dig in a little bit deeper there. The next one here, with GV Access, would I be notified when someone rings a bell for deliveries? Can I limit what users can do in the app? Yes, so we touched on that a little bit. So whenever someone presses a button on the CS1320, yes, you can get the notification there in the mobile app. You can limit what doors users have access to. But again, it's not used for administering your access control and enrolling users and those kinds of things. Okay, so the next one here was related to our long-range reader solutions. It says, you mentioned that the long-range reader could be standalone. Does this mean that you would have to program standalone and revise it standalone? Yes, technically, if you did run that unit standalone, there's a couple ways that you can update it. You could either go out to it with a laptop and you could plug in and update and add new credentials to it. Or if you put some kind of wireless communicator device, like a wireless access point on it, you would be able to wirelessly access that from your laptop. The next one here is about the EMAP. It just is asking, is the EMAP available in the 17.3 software? Yes, it is. It's actually available in a couple versions before 17.3. So yes, that is in there. If you go into the VMS folder, you'll see an EMAP editor program, and that's where you can go in and you can create and build your EMAP. If you want some more guidance on that, again, just please reach out to us on this email. The next question here, if we need more than 64 cameras for a single site, what are our options? So great question. I appreciate that. We didn't touch on larger scale on this particular presentation, but we do have some larger scale packages. We have a software called Recording Server. The current version of it does allow you to record up to 128 channels all on one machine. And we will be releasing a new version of Recording Server that will allow you to record up to 256 cameras on one machine. So that software does recording only. You're not viewing off that software, but you are able to pair it with the control center that I showed earlier that does your viewing, or you can use the current Edge Recording Manager software for remote viewing as well. The next question here is, how do you integrate defog features with VMS 18.1? So that is something that you can set up within the Video Process tab in VMS 18.1, and then some of the cameras you can actually log into their web interface and set that. But mostly I see it done in the VMS under the Video Process tab. The FWC, the next question here was, can it be set up as a two-factor authentication? I believe that can, but I'm not 100% sure on that, and I would ask you please to email me offline, and we'll look into that for you. And then the next one he had there was, does the VMS work with other access control APIs to take snapshots of certain locations when we get an access denied? Unfortunately, no, our platform does not currently integrate with third-party access control software packages. You can bring in third-party access control readers into GeoVision panels, but we can't integrate with third-party access control software packages. Next question here, someone said that they just ordered the control center today, and they're asking what version they'll be getting. So the current version that's shipping now is the version 3. Version 4 will not be available till Q3 of this year. Next one here is, do we have any technology such as loitering, or is it mainly line crossing and motion detection? I will tell you that we are going to be adding some additional analytics later this year, most likely to that AI Guard package that I previewed earlier, and I believe loitering is one of them. I know another one that will be added in is suspicious activity, where it basically is looking for people that are, say, looking, back over their shoulders, behind them and that kind of thing in like a retail setting. So those are some that are going to be added in. The next one here is, does the AI software incorporate object recognition, such as flagging a color and type of vehicle? Yes, so that will be available in the AI Guard software. What that does is every type of vehicle that is seen, it will archive and classify it as, say, a car, a truck, a bus, and it will also classify the color. And later on, you're able to do a search, like when you're reviewing playback video, you can do a search of what type of vehicle you're looking for and what color. You can also do a time search with those criteria. So say, show me every red truck that went by the camera from 8 a.m. to noon, and then you get a list of all the results. So yes, that will be available in the AI Guard software. Let's see here. The next one was, will facial recognition access control still work with recording server? So yeah, if you use the current facial recognition cameras that have the facial recognition built in, yes, you could put those on the recording server software. And then once the AIFR server software comes out, you should be able to just run that with your non-facial recognition cameras and then have the camera still record to recording server. The next question here was what cameras can support human temperature detection. So we currently don't offer anything like that. I know obviously with what we're going through right now in the world, there's a lot of people looking for thermal cameras and temperature detection, but no, I'm sorry, we do not currently have any solutions that would fit that. AI Guard, I got a question on when that will be available. Most likely late Q2 or Q3, AI Guard should be released. And yes, that would be a software in addition to the AIFR server. Those are two separate packages with different functionality. All right, and that is the last question that I had. If anybody has any more, feel free to submit them. If you do have any other questions you want to ask offline, again, please submit them to the email address you see on the screen here. Also, if anyone would like a PDF copy of this presentation, feel free to shoot an email here and we will get that to you as well. I want to, again, thank everyone very much for attending. Look forward to working with you further. Please, everyone, stay safe out there and have a great day. Thank you.